Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Films and Stuff podcast. I'm Ethan, and I am joined, as always, by Pete. Morning, Pete.
Morning, buddy. How are you?
Everything is great. It is Saturday morning, which means it is time for the weekly stream or skip segment. Every week, I introduce a segment, I introduce you, and then you take a deep breath, and in 15 seconds or less, you remind our loyal listeners of the rules. So, without further ado...
All right. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows and movies for each other to watch. Every week, we randomly assign each other one film or movie to watch. We watch at least 2 episodes, and on that basis, we determine if that show is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Righto. Starting off the new year, we are both on Paramount Plus, right?
That's right.
You want to go first, or shall I take the honors?
I'll go first. It's not as much as I thought I would have to say. I watched a show on Paramount Plus called Landman.
Taylor Sheridan universe.
This is a part of the Taylor Sheridan universe. Obviously, it's not an interconnected universe, but it is a corporately connected universe.
Yep.
I mean, more and more Paramount, or at least definitely Paramount Plus, but Paramount overall has kind of shifted its strategy to being all Star Trek and all Taylor Sheridan.
Right.
Landman is about the oil industry, whereas, we had Yellowstone, which was about the cowboy industry in Montana.
Yep. Landman
is about the oil industry in Texas. And Billy Bob Thornton plays a landman. Now, a landman is apparently, I had to research this, it's apparently an official job or an official type of job. And you know how law firms have what's called a fixer?
Apparently, yes.
Right? Unofficially, they all, at least in the Hollywood version of law firms, but I imagine really high-end law firms do have real-life fixers as well. A landman is basically a fixer for an oil company. It's a guy whose job it is to secure land leases, surface lease rights, mineral lease rights on behalf of oil companies. And his or her job is to effectively be like the guy who ensures smooth operations for the company.
He's like a chief operating officer in a more sleeves rolled up kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, their job is to kind of make sure that whatever bumps in the road there are, because the oil industry is notorious for being quite, not just literally, but quite figuratively a dirty business, right?
It's rough and tumble.
So you're not just dealing with, board executives. At the end of the day, you're still drilling for oil. You're still dealing with a physical product. And so there's a lot of problems that come up with that. And especially because it's such a valuable industry, you're certainly going to find your fair share of people who are probably going to want to get involved in one way or another.
I feel like Billy Bob Thornton is the right guy cast for this role, though.
Absolutely. Huh? He's not what I would consider a classically handsome Hollywood actor. He's a very good actor. He's got the right look in terms of being a rough and tumble guy. Like, he's believable.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the first episode alone. He's dealing with the police. He's dealing with landowners. He's dealing with a drug cartel. That's all in the first episode. So, that's the kind of how much of this is true. It's probably like 40 to 50% true. I doubt that there's that much
based on some real life events, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And supposedly, by the way, this show is based on a true story / a podcast that's about the true.
Oh, is that right?
Supposedly.
Huh.
Now, again, if it's based on a podcast or even a book, how much of that has been glamorized or dramatized for the sake of Hollywood, we'll never really know.
Yeah.
So I take a lot of that with a pinch of salt, but I'm sure there's some elements of truth in there. Do I think that, a landman was kidnapped by the cartel with a bag over his head and he was negotiating mineral or surface lease rights? I'm skeptical. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just skeptical. Do I think there was definitely involvement of a drug cartel? Probably.
What did you think of the show? Maybe start with expectations first.
So expectations were it was going to be a Taylor Sheridan show. I wasn't 100% sure what we were expecting, only because if you look at Lioness versus Yellowstone, two vastly different deals.
Right.
Where you start to see the similarity is in some of the tone and messaging. And by that, I mean to say Taylor Sheridan kind of has this classic messaging, which is designed, I think, and again, this is not a political commentary. This is not a commentary to say this is good or bad. I just think this is the way he works, which is his shows are designed to appeal to like conservative leaning males in the 40 plus bracket. The kind who are a little liberal, but maybe not super liberal. They think fondly of the past. They're open to new ideas, but they're not afraid to call out things that are ridiculous when they are, right? So I think of Kevin Costner in Yellowstone, think of anyone, frankly speaking, in Lioness. Not so conservative as to say we can't have any gay people on the show. Of course, there are a few lesbians in Lioness, but at the same time, not so far to the left where he's just like, okay, we're going to design the show. He's not afraid to call out the left. He's not afraid to call out the right.
I can't figure out. I mean, if you just watch it and you read the text, it seems like he's very like a little bit more right-wing leaning.
Yeah.
But I also can't figure out if he's pulling like a Stephen Colbert, right? Colbert's shtick was that he was Republican, but he was a Republican so hard that he was actually making fun of Republicans, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of can't tell if Taylor Sheridan is like saying some of these things mockingly or if he's really saying them because that's how he feels. I think that's kind of the unknown in his dialogue and in his writing.
Right. And I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the demographic that he's appealing to is broadly similar across all of his shows, right?
Yeah.
High on patriotism.
Yeah.
High on, effectiveness and, getting shit done, as it were.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whether it's being a cowboy in Montana or a special forces operator in the U.S. military, or it's a landman in Texas. At the end of the day, it's the results that matter, not your political leanings one way or another.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's a really good point. His overriding theme with Billy Bob is, hey, get the job done. Like there's obstacle, like find a solution to overcome the obstacle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And it's very I wouldn't say anti-green energy. It's more, hey, oil is necessary. It's not going away. Like open your eyes to the fact that, oil and oil-based products are in like every single thing you use. So stop kind of like villainizing it,
Right. And it's similar to that, spiel that Kevin Costner had with the vegans in one of the episodes of of Yellowstone, where he's just like, do you understand how many worms and voles and moles die planting your, acre of sorghum, right? So the question becomes, how cute does an animal have to be before you're okay with it being killed or not for your food?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's exactly the same here, where he's just like, well, for your wind turbine, do you understand how much concrete needs to be made, how much oil needs to go into it, blah, blah, blah. And so I actually looked into that. So he was saying that, there's a lot of mixed messaging in this. So a lot of the technical aspects of the job supposedly are correct. But a lot of the green messaging that he spouts on about are supposedly totally and wildly wrong. Yeah. So I think this is where, Taylor Sheridan's maybe lack of research or maybe his own political leanings or messaging comes into play. So, he talks about how a wind turbine, as an example, he says that a wind turbine never repays for its energy cost over its 20-year lifespan, which is apparently incorrect. A wind turbine today can pay itself off in terms of its carbon. The cost to build a turbine pays itself off within 18 to 24 months, supposedly.
Films and Stuff podcast here to educate and research on behalf of our listeners,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Public service. All right, so we like Billy Bob. What about the rest of the cast?
He's the only one I
love
like.
John Hamm.
Oh, no, okay. So John Hamm he's not bad, but in the same sense, he's also not a primary factor in the show. He's a very small character.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at the small characters, there's probably like John Hamm and Demi Moore. You have a few other people here and there, but like the main characters are Billy Bob Thornton and his family. Wife. Maybe his roommates, right? Because he's living with the corporate lawyer. Yeah. He's also living with one
Dale.
of the engineers. Everyone else is kind of like a supporting character at most.
Yeah.
So, yes, John Hamm is great. I think he's fine. I also happen to like John Hamm in virtually everything he does. So,
Love
there's
John
a little
Hamm.
bit of bias.
Yeah.
But I can't stand anyone else in this show. So, John Hamm, again, out of the 10 episodes, he's probably featured for like a half hour in all 10 episodes, maybe 45 minutes. Demi Moore, maybe 5-10 minutes.
Maximum.
Right? Yeah. And breaking down the family, his daughter is a bimbo airhead sex fiend. His wife or ex-wife, who becomes his wife again, is exactly the same. The son is this idealistic, naive moron.
Oh my God, do I hate his son. Of all the family members, I hate the son the most.
The son the most, then the daughter, then the mom. You know what? It's a close tie for the daughter and the mom. They're both horrible.
They're the same person. Yeah.
They're basically the same person, just different ages. And I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Like, it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Going back to the show now, going to the ratings, the show started off as a strong mooch with the possibility of possibly being a must subscribe.
Yeah.
I watched 4 episodes, and by the end of the second or third episode, I was just like, oh, okay, this is terrible. And I quickly shifted it down to a skip. It's just not enjoyable for me to watch. Again, there's a lot of misinformation about renewable energy. The family members in particular, I can't stand them. Every member of them sucks. And they're just a wildly over-the-top version of what a family in the US would be like.
It's hard to disagree about any of that. I would say I actually enjoy the oil parts. I really dislike the family parts. And I really dislike the legal parts. However, trivia, Nathan, the lawyer, his roommate, do you recognize him from anywhere?
No.
Oh my God, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm happy you're sitting down. The father from Umbrella Academy.
What? No, that's not true.
100% true.
Oh my God.
Reginald Hargreaves.
That's hilarious.
The monocle. Second guy, Dale, the other roommate.
Oh, he's the guy from Lioness.
Yeah, he's two cups. He's two cups in Lioness.
Yeah.
But Nathan, I was like, man, I know that guy from somewhere. Where did I see him before? Like, he looks so familiar. So I agree with you, though. I mean, I really like the oil parts. I wish the whole thing was oil. I don't like the legal stuff. I hate everything with the son. I mean, I cannot imagine a more clueless son. The daughter, I mean, she's overplaying her role, but I mean, at least she's not an idiot. But I mean, I feel like Cooper, the son, is just an idiot.
Yeah.
And, Ali Larder, who's the mom, I mean, again, just kind of an over-the-top performance, although she does it very well. And she looks great. I mean, it's just an over-the-top performance. And I feel like those family issues really overwhelm what should be a good oil show, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd like more John Hamm. I'd like more Billy Bob. It's too bad it's kind of sidetracked by the family crap.
Yeah.
So what did you score this? What's your ranking?
Oh, I gave it a skip.
Oh,
Yeah. Again, it started off as a mooch. I brought it down to a skip.
I put it as a mooch only because I really do like Billy Bob and I do like the oil scenes, but I can't really argue with someone if you put it a skip. Certainly, you're not missing out on anything except like the titularity of Ali Larder and her daughter. But apart from that, you're not really missing anything. Is it going to be renewed for a second
They
season?
haven't said.
Yeah. So that is Landman on Paramount Plus. And sticking to Paramount Plus, you assigned me something called SEAL Team, which I'm not sure if you know this, but it is a show that's been on Paramount for 7 seasons now. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, starring David Boreanaz. Do you know this guy?
I know the name. I can't place him in my mind, but I do know the name.
Yeah, he was the star of something called Bones a long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Angel even longer ago.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. Remember when we watched like Animal Kingdom like a long time ago? They had that one guy who was kind of like known from like another series. That's like David Boreanaz. He's kind of like a serial, I don't want to say serial actor. It doesn't make sense, but he's got like now 3, I guess, like big series where he's been in over like 100 episodes. He's never, as far as I'm aware, he's never been like really a feature guy in a movie. He's never really had like anything, but he kind of plays that guy who's a good lead for like, a good 100 episodes,
Sure.
Good working actor. So SEAL Team is exactly what it sounds like. It's the U.S. Navy SEALs, team of guys. They're all living in, I guess, Virginia or San Diego, where they're based. San Diego, I think, is right. And it starts out where they've got to pick a new guy. First, they pick the wrong new guy, and then they boot him off, and then they pick a new guy. And the new guy they pick is Max Theriault, who's also in that show about firefighting, Fire Country, where he plays kind of like I don't know, I guess they're like California firefighters. So he's got a second series to his name. This is a very easy series to watch. It's a little bit like the A-Team. They're a team. They go in, they do a mission. And of course, they're always far outnumbered, but they've always got like this, clear strategy, or they jimmy some truck or some device and they carry out their mission. I don't want to say it's racist, but I mean, they're always in some place that seems to be like Afghanistan or Pakistan, for example, right? I mean, they're never in Europe, they're never in London. They're always
Of course.
somewhere. And, they get out of the thing and then they go home and, that's the end of it. So the nice part is you don't necessarily have to watch every episode. I mean, the seasons are long. The seasons are, I think, like 15 episodes every season. You don't have to watch every episode to be able to see what's happening, because every mission is in a way standalone mission. And then obviously there's some continuing themes, which is family themes or love life themes or promotional themes, or some guys dealing with an injury, but he's trying to hide it themes, or some guys dealing with emotional stress and he's trying to hide it. You know how it goes, basically. If you're watching this for the technical aspects, it is on Paramount Plus, so give them some credit. The costuming, I think, is very good and realistic. The military gear and the guns basically and the explosions are very good. But I think if you're looking at this as kind of like a feature film, you would be disappointed by the quality. And if you just look at it from like a logistical aspect, I find it a little bit annoying. Like they get a phone call basically saying, hey, report to base. Then they go to the briefing room. Okay, we got this urgent, hostage situation or nuclear kill switch or something you got to get. They get on like a big jet, or not a big jet, like a big cargo plane, fly halfway around the world. Then they go to like a forward operating base, get prepped. Then they deploy. Then they're extracted. Then they're on a flight home. Like, it doesn't really make sense. It would seem like they should be like based locally, right? It seems like an awful lot of travel for these guys. Casting's not bad. They all kind of look, relatively fit and buff. They've been working out. It's nothing that's going to knock your socks off in terms of storylines, in terms of iconic characters, but it's an easy watch. And I would say it's a little bit of something for everybody. I could see this as a good compromise show for like a couple where there's no bad language, there's no nudity. I mean, there's some kissing scenes and stuff, of course, and people in bed, but like no like nudity and like crazy stuff. And there's enough action to kind of satisfy, the masculinity part. And there's enough kind of like family stuff to, satisfy someone who doesn't just want to watch like an action show. It seems like a pretty good compromise, so I can see why it's been on for 7 seasons. I mean, I found myself like ripping through a bunch of episodes, to be honest. And it was easy watching.
Sure.
Again, it's not like, I mean, I would compare everything to, I don't know, what would I compare it to? What's the show with Melinda Merkel?
Suits?
Yeah, Suits.
Meghan
If I was
Markle?
going to compare it to Suits, there's no, you know who I meant.
I do.
There's no Harvey, right? Like Harvey is an iconic character, right?
Yeah.
Or even Louis Litt is a little bit iconic, right? Like forever we'll know those characters. Same with like kind of Friends, right? Ross and Rachel and Chandler. I don't think there's anyone iconic in SEAL Team. There's no Billy Bob Thornton, for example, who you're like, oh man, I love Billy Bob Thornton. I just got to watch everything. All these guys are very
generic.
They're very decent. Yeah, they're very decent. They're all working actors. No one is too dramatic in the show that you hate him. There's no one who's, very, very annoying. They're all, I guess, positioned to kind of be your buddy. Like, oh, like if that was my buddy, like, and he was having like a tough time, like, yeah, I would probably cover for him too, like it's a lot of, cover once and, so I'm going to, do him the solid and I'm going to cover for him because, we've got that loyalty. It's a more a buddy show than anything else. So I gave it a mooch. It's definitely something that is worth watching if you're cooking, eating cereal, just vegging, clicking through emails. But if you think that, you're going to watch 2 episodes of this and come away like, whoa, I got to call Pete. We've got to talk about that last episode. Like that was such a crazy mission. Nothing of the sort. The missions are pretty basic. And like with all kind of shows like this, I mean, they can shoot like 100 bad guys, kill shots directly in the head, even though the bad guys have helmets on, right? And everyone's like shooting like crazy stuff at them, like hail of bullets and rocket launches and stuff, and they're unscathed. It is what it is. So I gave it a mooch. It's SEAL Team, Paramount Plus.
All right. So just to give a little bit of context, this was our last episode of 2024, although obviously you're hearing this in 2025 now.
True.
For the year, we've watched 54 shows.
Oh, man. Collectively? That's
Collectively,
great.
27 weeks. We did, we missed out a bunch at the beginning of the year.
We did.
And of the list that I gave you, you were on what I would call the wrong side of mooch someone's password.
What was my average?
2.56. So you were below.
I was below a mooch.
Yeah. And as was I had 2.41. I was also below mooch.
Who had more must subscribes, me or you?
You had 7 from the list that I gave you. I had 6. So pretty even.
That is not bad. I mean, that's more or less 25%, right?
Yeah, so it's absolutely that's the way to look at it. If you look at it that way, if you look at the, mooch someone's passwords, we were at 7 apiece. So we were at about a half, right? So about 50% of the shows that we assigned each other were either straight, you got to watch them, or hey, you know what? Take my password, watch the show. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I mean, do you think we found any like real gems? Like, for example, Bad Monkey,
Yeah.
which I gave a must subscribe Apple TV Plus. I feel like that show is not a diamond in the rough. I think that that's a show that definitely people would see it on Apple TV Plus if they have it. They may have heard about it, but it didn't get like so much publicity that they're like, well, I guess I've just got to watch that, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that's really a diamond in the rough. I'd say that's a recommendation. Sabura, for example, which is a must subscribe on Netflix, that I would consider a diamond in the rough. What were your diamonds in the
So
rough, do you
for
think?
me, I actually think of it the other way also. I think, for example, Day of the Jackal is a diamond in the rough, and not because of the
Oh,
show, but because of
yeah.
the platform, right? It's on Peacock.
Yeah,
And
true.
so, first of all, Peacock, it's basically just an American only streaming platform. It's very hard to find anywhere else, right? In general, I would say that it's rare to find shows on platforms that you wouldn't normally have access to or have even heard of. And Peacock is, I mean, it's obviously not niche, but at the same time, it's niche in the sense that its availability is very limited,
Yeah.
right?
Is Day of the Jackal being renewed for a second season?
I don't know. That's also a question.
That's true though. That was a we loved it. We both gave it a
Yeah,
5.
I put it this way. By the merits of our scoring system, it's a must subscribe to Peacock.
Yeah.
But by the merits of practicality, would I subscribe to Peacock? I mean, you and I are, but would somebody sitting in India or the UK subscribe to Peacock? Probably not, only because of availability.
I think it's fair to say that something like Peacock, that's a 1 month subscription where you
Yeah,
can binge it.
yeah,
But if you're really like, hey, I'm not getting 5 different services, what should I get?
right,
Then I mean you kind of look at what we've seen from like Apple TV Plus, Netflix, Amazon, maybe Paramount Plus as a fourth. Those are kind of like the big four that you decide within, right?
right,
Like for example, I don't have an Amazon Prime subscription right now.
right.
I sign up from time to time whenever you assign something to me or something big is coming out, but as of this very moment, I don't have Amazon Prime because honestly, there's nothing on.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
yeah. I mean, I have it, but for Prime shopping, not for Prime Video.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty damning actually if Amazon is listening to this. I mean, that's the amount of money that they've spent on content, and someone who's a rabid television watcher,
Yeah,
that I can't find anything on there that I'm interested in watching, and I've totally given up that subscription until something else comes out, right?
yeah.
Comes out, I'll sign up and I'll do it for another month. But
Yeah, but that's exactly right. Like you don't your streaming platform doesn't want that. Doesn't want you as a customer who's so hands-on that, subscriptions are month to month. They want subscribers to be like, hey, the platform is just good enough that I don't mind paying every month,
yeah,
even when nothing is on, because I know in the next month something else will be.
yeah. Which is why I guess Apple TV Plus has started to release things like week by week, like Silo,
Yeah,
to keep you at least for 2 months, right?
yeah, exactly. The year in review, we had, pretty good stats. I mean, I think a 25% success rate is very solid. As usual, shows that I really liked resonated well with you, and shows that you really liked resonated well with me.
Not surprising, we are
Not
friends.
surprising.
So that's Streamer Skip, high level overview of what we did in 2024 and 2025. I think it's time I've got to update my list to you. You probably have to update your list to me.
Yep. Let's see what we've got. So for next week, we are kicking off our 2025 Stream or Skip shows with you on Netflix watching Territory.
Territory?
Yeah, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
And unfortunately, speaking of the devil, I will be on Amazon Prime because I will
Ooh,
be watching Citadel Honey Bunny.
Is that Citadel?
It is Citadel.
What is Citadel Honey Bunny? It sounds like a entrapment for a prostitution ring.
I don't know what it is, but I'm half interested and half like deathly afraid of
mortified.
Yeah.
All right. So, Pete, let's read off our social media credentials and wrap it up for the morning.
Absolutely. Tweet at us at F&S Podcast. DM us on Instagram at Films and Stuff Podcast. And as always, best thing you can do, like this video, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below, and hit that notification bell.
Ring the bell. Pete, appreciate the 2025 kickoff, a good episode of Streamer Skip. We're starting not slow, but not with a bang. Let's give us some time to work up to it. I think you've got some good winners on your list. My list is kind of unknown, but I'm looking forward to Territory on Netflix for next week.
That's right.
All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Pete, thanks for the contributions as always, and we shall see you next week, next time, Films and Stuff Podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye now.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.